Yeah, this is something in being historical news. I made a video earlier talking about the terrorists of human life. I don't. My views are not of Muslim people, but of Muslim people that suffer. But the Muslim people that suffer. That's where my views come from. My views come from the people who suffer. The people are suffering and left in anguish and hell and suffering. That's where my care comes from. My care comes from these people. The terrorists, I care less about. The terrorists, I care less. If they die, they die. I can't do nothing about it. But there have been 2 million displaced, 200,000 dead. There's been beheadings. There's been decapitation of children, and God knows what other genocide. This is where my views come from. This is where my views come from. The hate of terrorism. The hate of terrorism. The killing of innocent people. If you're going to kill guilty people, you're fighting a war. You don't fight people that can't fight themselves. You don't fight people that can't fight themselves. It's just not done. It's not done. My views are not about the Muslim people, but about the terrorists who terrorize them and terrorize them and terrorize them. This is what I wanted people to understand. I deleted the other video. Because my views are not about the Muslim people, are not about the Muslim people. My heart goes out to the Muslim people. Those in Iraq, those in Afghanistan, those in Syria, who are stuck, without their homes, without their lives, without their livelihood. These people are suffering aimlessly, agonizingly, in the way of Bashar Assad and terrorists like Boko Haram, Nigeria, and Al Qaeda and the Taliban and Al Shabaab and ISIS. And this is not right. This is not right. Not even the Muslim people, I believe, are going to get involved in this. Well, you're going to have some low wolves. You're going to have some low wolf radicals like the one in Ottawa, Canada. Like I said, I did that video wrong too, so I deleted that one. I want to keep this station honest. I want to keep the views clear. I want to keep the views clear so that people understand. I don't hate the Muslim people. I'm not like an ordinary person. I'm not like an ordinary person. I don't take my hate out on the Muslim people. This is why I do the news about the suffering of the Muslim people, about the agony about the Muslim people, about the decapitations of people like Fowler and Cossack, which hopefully they won't do. But these terrorists have been terrorizing Syria for months, for 2 years now. And this has gone on in 12 years, 20 years in Iraq. This barbarism against human life has gone on for too long. It's time to stop blaming religion. It's time to stop blaming religion and put an end to the slaughter of human life. It's time to put an end to the slaughter of human life, human innocence. They stoned a woman yesterday. That, in my view, is not humanly correct. Everybody makes mistakes. It's what life is all about. Nobody can go through life not being human. As there are gay people in this country, there are gay people in Islam. And they have a right to their life. Religion is not an order. It's not an order. It's a book. It's the Quran is a book. So is the Bible. So is the Mormon book. They're a book. They're a book to guide life. But when you use it as a weapon, then I draw the line. Because I feel sorry for the Syrian people. They're stuffed in the middle of this. The Yazidis, the Christians, just the Kurds are fighting both sides. Big Bashar Assad wants to bomb them instead of bombing ISIS. Why? For what? What is ISIS going to do for him? Do they really think, does Bashar Assad really think that ISIS is going to let him live? They're not going to let him live. But my heart goes out to the Muslim people. This has never been about Islam or the book of Quran, because I've read something, not all of it, but something. And from what I've read, it has nothing to do with the slaughter and the chaos, the futility of some disgrace of human life that ISIS is performing. It's not right. It's not human, and it's not even religious. This war with ISIS has nothing to do with religion. It has to do with power, greed, and money. Otherwise, they wouldn't be trying to ransom human beings for money to finance their reign of terror. I want people to understand that I don't hate the Muslim people. I've met a lot of good Muslims. Many good Muslims. I live in Chicago, man. And you meet all kinds of, every faction of life lives in a city like this. Every faction of life lives in a city like this. And people have to care about people. Till people learn to care about people, it never ends. That's why you see it in Syria. You see it in Iraq. You see it in Afghanistan. You see it in Lebanon. You see it in Egypt. You see it in Pakistan. You see it in Lebanon. You see it in India. This constant slaughter of human life has to stop. This constant slaughter of human life has to stop. Everybody has to grow. Everybody has to grow beyond the need to kill, the need to butcher, the need to slaughter, the need to genocide human life, to let people live. This is what I wanted people to understand. That I am not now and I have not ever been against the Muslim people. That's why I do the videos. That's why I do the videos for all human life, for the people that die here, for the people that die overseas, so that people do not get forgotten. And that's what this site is all about. This site doesn't pay me. This site does not pay me. This site does not pay me. This site doesn't pay me a dime. I've made 7,000, 8,000 videos there and never taken a dime. Everything goes to the Food for the World organization. And that's the food for all people. For all people. For all people. People need to eat. People need to eat. I'm well aware of that. I've been hungry. I've been starved. I've gone hungry. But the fight for human life involves all people. It involves all nations. That's the fight for human life. The care for human life. But don't mistake my disdain for terrorists who kill innocent people, like the one in Iowa yesterday. It's not right. You don't kill people that aren't armed. You don't kill people that aren't armed. You gotta have some code of honor, even in war. There has to be a code of honor. And honor says you don't kill human life that's not armed. You don't stone women. You don't beat women to drag them. You don't kidnap school children. This is just a facetious way to live. It's just a facetious way to live. I did not want people to understand or think that I hate the Muslim people, because I don't. I do the videos for the Muslim people, denouncing terrorism. I denounce terrorism because it's not right. It's not fighting war. They're killing, slaughtering, and butchering, and decapitating anybody that gets in their way. And that's the sadness of human life. That's the suffering of human life. And what I do is a news station. It's a news station. It covers the news about the Muslim people. It can't help it. But that's the way it is. But do not ever think that I set judgment against the Muslim citizens themselves, because they're the ones stuck in the middle of this melee between Bashar Assad and ISIS. And little does Bashar Assad know that if ISIS gets a chance, they'll cut his head off just as damn fast as they'll cut anybody else's head off. This thing that happened to these people. It's not because they're Muslim. It's because they're killers, murderers, and cutthroats. That's the disdain. That's the disdain that I have for these people. It's because they're murderers, butchers, and cutthroats. They believe in genocide. They believe in slaughter. They believe that the West is evil. The West is not evil. Never has been. Never will be. Sure, we have our faults. We have our crimes. But the people are free. People can walk around and do what they want to do. They can say what they want to say. And human rights and human freedoms and human facts of life. In all nations, freedom is the biggest, most precious gift that a human being can have. The right to think for themselves. The right to love for themselves. The right to care for themselves. The right to help themselves. The right to be who they want to be without fear of retaliation by a terrorist group. And that's what the video was all about. That's what the video was all about. It's about the care. It's about the struggle of the Syrian people to try and get some semblance of life in their nation, like Iraq, like Afghanistan. You need to stop the killing. You need to stop the killing of the terrorists, and that's a fact of life. That's the reality of life. It's the only way it's going to stop. It's the only way it's going to stop. I don't like to see people bombed. People know me. People know me. I've been on this internet for 15 years. Everybody knows me on this internet. Every site, every place. And they know I'm not a hater of people. I'm not a hater of people. I've never been a hater of people. But I have disdain for those that think that they can butcher and slaughter and decapitate human life without value or thinking or any thought. They execute, they kill, they butcher, they maim, and I'm supposed to say, well, this is okay because it's this They're terrorists. They're simply full-blown terrorists. They kill and slaughter and butcher and maim human life like it has no meaning at all. And that's the fact of human life. That's the truth of human life. This is not an insult contest. I have disdain for them. I really do. For ISIS, same thing for Boko Haram, same thing for Al Qaeda, same thing for the Taliban. I have disdain for them. I don't hate the people because I don't know who they are, but I have disdain and hate for what they do. I have disdain and hate for what they do. When you slaughter innocent human life, then what do you want? What do you want? Where's the honor? Where's the honor? Where's the respect and the value for their own people? For their own people. They're laying their own people to death in Syria, in Iraq, in Afghanistan. They're putting their own people to death by decapitation. Hell, they're even killing their own terrorist people. Where's it end? For spying. For spying, you cut somebody's head off instead of sending them to jail. That's what I mean. This is a war on terror. This is not a war against a Muslim nation. This is a war on terror. It's a fight to free a nation from the terrorists that it lives in now, or the terror and the horror and the ugliness that it lives in now, to give them a value of life that allows them to live as they want to live. And that's what the fight is all about. And that's what the bombings are all about. To stop these people from the slaughter of human life. The Kurds have held on to Kobani and held on to Kobani, and now 200 more are going to come and join through Turkey. God bless their hearts. These warriors of human life have taken a beating. They've been the ones left out. They've asked for help. They've asked for help. They've begged for help. Yesterday we dropped them a cache of weapons so they can defend themselves. And apparently the terrorists got a hold of some of them. But it's a losing battle. It's a losing battle. As more and more people want to come from nations to fight against the terrorists, to fight against the terrorists, to fight against the terrorists. People are tired. People in Syria, people in Iraq, people in Afghanistan, people in these nations are tired of war. They want to see some peace, some buildings, some teachers. They want to watch their kids grow. They want to watch their children grow. They want to watch their nation grow. They want to see their nation thrive. And I'm sure that's what most Muslims will tell you. They want to see their nation thrive. And that's what the video was all about. The lost souls of human life that have been laid to death for nothing, for absolutely nothing. And that's the sadness of human life. That's the sadness of human life. It really is. Because people fight for life. People fight for life. People are fighting for life. People are fighting for their lives. I didn't want people to think that I have disdain for all Muslim people. No, it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. I have the ability to separate my disdain for the terrorists and keep my heart open for the Muslim people and their religion and their beliefs. Sure, I don't believe in some of it. I don't believe in some of the Catholic religion. I don't believe in taking rights away from people, taking freedoms away from people, taking equality away from people in any nation, whether it be Syria, whether it be Iraq, whether it be Afghanistan. It doesn't matter. Taking people's rights away from human life and the right to simply live. It's not right. It's just not right. It's not the way to survive in the world. It's not the way to make a world. It's not the way to make humanity. It's not the way to make the human race. I look at us all as the human race. And that's the difference between me and most people in the world. So I see human beings, human victims. And I don't see Muslims. I see human beings and human victims. And that's the truth of human life. That's the truth of all that I do. That's the truth of all that I do. I fight for the right of human life, for the belief in human life, for the belief in human life. Most people want you to believe that the world is inherently evil, but it's not. I've been in many, many, many sections of Chicago, many places around the world, that people are people, man. People just want to live. They want to live and be left alone. But you cannot allow, cannot sit by, see countless thousands slaughtered and genocided without something being done about it. Are we going to put boots in the ground in Syria? I don't know. I just don't know. Do we want to risk our young men in more war, in more fighting, more killing? Once again, it takes the world. The world has to begin to stand together. That's the only way to stop this, really, is a coalition of troops. A coalition of troops put in Syria, Iraq, Afghanistan. A coalition of about 750,000. And that way, you level off the nation, and ISIS won't have nowhere to go. But you need a coalition of troops. It has to be done by all caretakers of life, by all fighters for freedom, by all freedom fighters. It has to be done by all people. It has to be done by all people. It can't just be done by the United States anymore. We're in debt up to our yin yang. And it's costly, and it's deadly, and it's serious, and it hurts human life. Don't ever think that I stand against the Muslim people, because I don't. I never have, and I never will. What I do is give the news, give the facts, give the reality that there are many millions and millions of people in Syria that are suffering endlessly, agonistically, historically, horrorized by the death, the slaughter of human life that's gone on there for so long. And Bashar Assad has done nothing to stop it. Bashar Assad has done nothing to stop it. This killing and butchering and slaughtering of human life must not be let go in any nation. Not ours, not Syria's, not Afghanistan's, not Iraq's. In no nation should life be in fear of slaughter, in fear of death, in fear of evil. There's such a thing as extremist. There's also such a thing as extreme. These terrorists have taken it to the extreme. When you're kidnapping children, shooting children who want to go to school, it's just not human. It's not human. It's not human. You go and put a bullet in a child like Mara. Have you seen her? She has such zest for life. She's so full of zest for life. That's what being a human being is all about. That care for human life. That love for human life. People don't kill children. People don't kill children. People don't put bombs on children's backs. It's not right to use and abuse human life. And then make videos about it. It's not right. It's just not right. And that's why I made the video. I made the video for the simple fact that the terrorists are killing and slaughtering, butchering innocent human lives. And that's all I made the video for. And that's what I made the video for. Out of the respect and value for the human lives that are there. Out of the respect and value for the human lives that are there. And no other reason. I don't fight against people who want to live. I fight for people to live. I fight for people to survive. I fight for people to end the war and the killing. ISIS laid down their weapons and went about their life. I wouldn't say a word, but they're not going to. It's not going to happen. If we stop trying to stop their slaughter, more Muslims are going to die. More Syrian people are going to die. More Iraqi people are going to die. Where does it end? Where does it end and the value for human life begin? Where does it end and the value for human life begin? That's what I want to know. There's that fine line between life and death. There's that fine line that we all live between life and death. And you just can't turn a blind eye to the slaughter that's gone on in this nation. The slaughter that's gone on. To the killings that have gone on. To the decapitations that have gone on. And brutalizing people like Peter Kosik, who do nothing but try to cover the war for the Syrian people, who give their views. People who give their views. And it's not out of hate that they do it. They do it to keep the world outside informed what is really going on in Syria, such as use of gas. Now people act like this really didn't happen. People like the Muslim girl who do their shows, they act like it really doesn't happen. You can't turn a blind eye to the death of the world, to the death of a country, to the death of a nation. You can't turn a blind eye and act like this isn't happening. I can't. I never will. You can't turn a blind eye to the world. You cannot turn a blind eye to the world. But it's not the Muslims that I hate. It's not the disdain that I have for Muslims. It's the same thing happened to those. They use that religion to kill their own people, slaughter their own people. And that's why I do what I do. I'll continue to do what I do. I cover the news in all nations, whether it be Iraq, wherever it is, wherever there's evil committed, this show will be. Wherever there's evil committed. And I'm sure there's been more bad-aids. They beheaded people in Saudi Arabia, 26, 59 this year already. Because somebody takes something because they're hungry. Doesn't mean you kill. Doesn't mean you kill. If you can't feed your own people, then who can you feed? If you can't respect and value your own people, then who do you respect and value? Who do you respect and value? If you can't value your own people, that's what I'd ask Assad right to his face without a snap of my fingers. If you can't value your own people, if you can't value and care about your own people, who do you care about? Who do you care about? If you can't have respect and peace and freedom for your own people, damn it, where does it come from? Where does it come from? You have to value your own people. You have to value your own people. You have to value all people. Really, you have to value all people. All people have the right to live life. That's why I fight against the hunger in Africa. I fight against the hunger in Syria. I fight against the hunger in all nations. That's what this station is all about, man. If you can't value your own people, Mr. Assad, who's going to? If you can't care and feed for your own people and stop the slaughter and the terrorists from butchering and slaughtering, decapitating your own people, who do you care about? Do you just want to stay in power and rule over people like they're dirt? It don't work that way. People who want to be great leaders, and all the great leaders that have been great leaders, from President Lincoln to Sister Teresa, to people like that, those people were great leaders. They led by example. He needs to lead by example now and stop ISIS from killing his own people. He's killing his own people. There are 55 pictures of him, of dead bodies in the American Museum, of him slaughtering his own people. Where does it end? Where does it end? If you can't care and have respect and value for your own human life, your own human beings, or any human being, how can you lead a nation? How can you lead a nation? How can you lead a nation with the execution of human life? How do you lead a nation? How do you become a leader? Saddam Hussein was the most hated person in Iraq. Doesn't make you a leader. Doesn't make you a leader. If you can't value your own people's human lives enough to fight against terrorists, how can you expect to lead when the war is over? How can you expect to lead? By prison camps, torture camps, butchery, killing? If you can't value human life, then what is there to value? If you don't value human life, what else is there to value? What about the little Syrian children? What about the little children? What about the women? These are people that cannot fight back for themselves. When do you start to value your own human lives? Your own human lives. We're all human beings on this planet. Whether you're a Muslim, whether you're an American, whether you're Canadian. We're all human beings on this planet. We all have to live on this earth. We all have to start to accept each other as human beings. But if you can't value the people in your own country, how are you going to value the people in another country? It doesn't work that way. You can't just decide to assassinate all human life. It doesn't work like that. It does not work like that. It ends in death, and chaos, and slaughter, and mayhem, and war. Exactly what Syria is today. A war-torn nation blown to hell. And he wants to bomb more. He wants to bomb more. He wants to bomb the Kurds, the only ones that are fighting against the Islamic terrorists, the ISIS militant group. The only ones that are fighting. But they all need to fight. They all need to fight. That's the human truth. They all need to fight. You all need to have valor. You all need to have respect for human life. Everybody does. I do. That's why I do the shows that I do. That's why I do the shows attacking terrorists. Because they're not fighting a war. They're killing innocent people. And when you kill innocent people, it's not a war. It's murder, homicide, serial killing. Yeah, when you guys when you fight when you can't protect your own people, you can't fight your own people. It's sadness of human life. It really is. It's the sadness of human life that people are dying. People are dying. Syria. Innocent people. Naturally born innocent people are dying in Syria. And that's not right. That's the saying I have for terrorists. It's that people are dying in these nations. And people are dying in these nations. And people are being executed. They're not even being given a trial. They're just chopping their heads off. Now, I can't agree with that, and I'll never agree with that. And I'll fight against tyranny wherever it is, as long as I have this channel. Because you cannot, you must not let the world become a war zone. Just can't. But if you can't defend the life of your own people, where do you defend life? If people outside have more value for the life of the Syrian people than Bashar Assad, what does it say about him? What does that say about him? What does it say about him? If the people outside of Syria have more value for the Syrian lives of men, women, and children than Bashar Assad and the terrorists, what does that say about him? What does that say about him? What does that say about him? They ask for boots on the ground. If we put troops in Syria, ISIS will run. If the coalition puts troops in Syria, we put 750,000 troops in Syria and Iraq. The coalition really wants to stop this. They're going to have to put boots in Iraq and Syria. That's the only way it's going to end. You're going to have to get rid of Bashar Assad because this guy has shown no value for any human life at all. He's another one. The poor Kurds, Shiites, and Sunnis are all killing each other. You're all your own people. You're all your own people. You call it moderate, light, extremist, Muslim. No human life is worth the death of a book. No human life is worth the death of a book. That's the truth of human life. That's the fact of human life. That's the reality of human life. And those that make up these values are wrong. Are wrong. I don't care if they're clerics or a cleric, they even beheaded him. Where does it end? Where does it end? Where does the care for human life begin? Where does the care for human life begin? Did you continue to slaughter human life and execute it and butcher it? This is why we got involved. This is why the world got involved. This is why the Canadians got involved. Because they're caretakers for human life. They do not want to see the Syrian people wiped out any more than they are. They do not want to see children killed any more than they are. What do you expect when you put these videos out and you get these pictures smuggled out of Iraq, smuggled out of Syria, rather, of Bashar Assad's own torture camp? What do people expect? No. I have disdain for the terrorists because they kill innocent people. When you kill innocent people, it's not right. It's not justice. It's not equality. It's not for freedoms. It's not for human rights. It's not even for belief. It's for power, greed, and money. And that's it. That's all we'll ever be. And that's the shame of human life. These people have to have money to fight. Cut off their money. Cut off their war supply. Stop arming these nations. Stop arming these nations. The Russians, the Americans. Stop arming these nations except for the Kurds. And let them fight. The people of Yazidi want to fight. The tribal leaders want to fight. Because they're tired. They just want to live their life. They want to live as human beings. They want to live as the Syrian people. They don't want to be in the middle of a war zone, four sides. Turkey has to guard its border. for fear that ISIS will go in there. No, can't do that. No. This is what I have to stand for. Now I hope people understand. And it's not of the Muslim people. It's of the terrorists. And I do have to stand for it. Very great mistake. And it does. And it does make me mad that they execute, slaughter human life for nothing. Get away with it. And it does make me mad. For the value of human life. We all only have one. And nobody deserves to have that taken away from them before they've lived it. Before they've lived it. I say the same thing for all human life. For all human life. This is 7 billion years start with this. Thank you for watching.